EA Sports. It's in the game.
I know it's hard to sort of imagine this, but especially if you're a newer basketball fan or basketball video game fan. But for a long period of time, NBA Live was considered the standard for basketball video games, or as I should say, simulation basketball video games, because of course there was NBA Jam and games from Acclaim, or it was NBA Showtime or whatever. But NBA Live was, if you wanted to play a good simulation basketball game, that was the one to go for. And that was true for the Sega Mega Drive, or I should say Genesis for people in the United States. The Mega Drive was, the Genesis was called the Mega Drive in Europe and Australia. And that continued through to the Sony PlayStation era, as well as the PS2 era. And it really didn't change until Sega ceased production on the Dreamcast, and they started selling their games on the PS2 and the Xbox system, as well as the GameCube. No one really talks about that system, and it's kind of funny to think about it, because after the abysmal Sega Saturn console in terms of sales, EA they didn't want anything to do with Sega anymore. So they refused to make games for the Sega Dreamcast, and that forced Sega to come up with their own sports games to give their customers some options. Because if people were buying it for Sonic or Soul Calibur or whatever, Phantasy Star Universe, so Sega decided, because EA wasn't going to produce their video games or make them available for the Dreamcast, that they had to come up with essentially their own company. And they started Visual Concepts, and that's how we saw NFL and NBA 2K come about. And once the Dreamcast ceased production, you saw Sonic and Crazy Taxi and Virtual Tennis and all those other arcade games, arcade hits, become available now on the PS2 and the Xbox. And that's when the real competition really hit between EA and Visual Concepts. And in many ways, the early 2000s was, for the sporting landscape, the sporting video game fans out there, VC versus Visual Concepts versus EA, that was Sonic versus Mario. That was a heated rivalry. And early on, it looked like Visual Concepts were going to run away with it. 2K1, 2K2, 2K3 were all dominated. They were much better games than the live editions. But in 2004 and 2005, you could make a reasonable argument for EA producing better NBA video games. They may not have been as realistic, but in terms of the fun factor, it was so much easier to invite some friends over to play those games, because it was very much a pick up and play experience, rather than learning all the shot animations and all the ISO motion techniques and things of that nature that are associated with the early 2K games. So what you might be thinking, what am I talking about here, and how does this relate to NBA Live 2006? So obviously we're on the Xbox 360 version, and I had never played Live 2006. Hell, I had never played NBA 2K6 until I did the Chris Paul rookie debut video quite a while ago now, which is 2 years ago, maybe around that, close to. It was definitely 18 months ago. And I had a lot of fun playing NBA 2K6 on the Xbox 360. And I wanted to do a Kobe Bryant season, or a franchise. I can't do it on NBA Live because there's no franchise mode, or if you can believe that, for the Xbox 360 version. We'll get to that in a second. But I fired NBA Live up, and graphically I was blown away by it. There's no question that they produced a graphically superior game to the NBA 2K6 for the Xbox 360 version. Now, I looked into it as to why, because NBA Live had horrific ratings. NBA Live 2006 had horrific ratings, as when NBA 2K6 had fairly high ratings. We're talking about like 5.5 to 6 range for NBA Live, and you're getting close to 8.5 for NBA 2K6. And I was wondering why, so of course I played it. And as I said, the graphics, amazing. But the gameplay was horrible. And it left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And this is when you really saw a massive gap. As I said before, there was a big gap from 2001 to 2003 with these video games. But then in 2004, 2005, you saw that gap get very close to the point where it was a legitimate competition between these two franchises, these two studios. And then this came out. And that competition was blown wide open. And this was very much because EA had secured the exclusive rights to the NFL to produce NFL games, which of course is Madden. So this is very much VC's, or Visual Concepts, survival now, was the NBA franchise. Because they didn't have anything else to drop back to. They had the NHL series. I don't even know if they still make those games. And also they had the Major League Baseball, but they were never as popular as the basketball games. So they had to really put everything they had into survival, because they didn't have a fallback. EA had other areas that they could go to. EA could go to, obviously they had the shooting series, I'm not sure if Battlefield was around back then, but they had all different options. Need for Speeds was around. They had other areas that they could go to. Madden, of course, the NHL series, FIFA. 2K only had, or I should say Visual Concepts only had NBA 2K. So they put everything into it. Whereas this game was just pathetic. And when you play the game, as I said, you look at it visually and it looks stunning. Some of the graphics, the lighting, it looks fantastic. The sweat looks real. Although it looks like they've been in a sauna a little bit rather than a basketball stadium. But this was... And the excuse that EA gave was such nonsense, because they said that, what we tried to do was rebuild the game up for the new generations, and that's why we couldn't put in franchise. But when you play this is NBA Live 2006. This is NBA Live 2006 for the previous generations, the original Xbox and the PS2, and they splashed a fresh coat of paint on it essentially, but they took away a lot of things. And it was such an unfinished game, and they released it out to people. You can tell why people were really upset with this, and they decided to move away. Some of the loyal fans to NBA Live who enjoyed that style of play, this is very slow, boring, has bad AI, bad commentary. I mean, you want to write a list and check it off of things that could go bad in a basketball video game. If you take graphics away from this might be the worst basketball video game I've ever played. And the fact that people wanted to see improvements from one generation to the next, and this is now the next gen, is just completely unacceptable. Whereas NBA 2K6, when I played it, the presentation was fantastic, the atmosphere was great, the commentary was incredible, the gameplay was fun. I mean, it ticked all the boxes in the right departments, where this ticked all the boxes in the wrong department. So this was really the first step in what ruined NBA Live, this game, because they never gathered their feet afterwards. I mean, they sort of it took them till NBA Live 2010 with Dwight Howard on the cover before they actually produced a semi-decent game again. But by then the ship had sailed. Now, there is something else I wanted to talk about. I mentioned NFL 2K before, and there's still a very big cult following for ESPN NFL 2K5. And a lot of fans of that series look back and they say, well, if only EA was so worried they had to buy them out. They had to buy that exclusive license. I don't blame EA at all for that, by the way. That's the NFL's fault. They could have easily had a license similar to the NBA where, multiple studios were able to use it. I mean, the NBA has had plenty of companies come through, whether it was Microsoft with Inside Drive or Konami with NBA Tonight or whoever. I mentioned Acclaim before as well. But it was the NFL that got very greedy, and they wanted a bidding war for who got the exclusive license. And of course EA had the funds. Remember, 2K did not have the backing of 2K Studios at that stage, which is obviously they have some big titles behind them like Borderlands and Red Dead Redemption and GTA. Now, they didn't have that backing back then. They were pretty much on their own. Sega was not making a whole lot of money. I think Sega actually sold the license to Visual Concepts now, which is maybe one of their top 5 biggest errors that they made from a video game standpoint. But speaking of NFL 2K and people longing for NFL 2K to return, I'm not sure if that's a positive thing, because we look at how NBA 2K has turned out over the last few years, and it's been a pretty shocking example of just repetitive and microtransactions, and that's turned into a boring series and franchise as well. I don't even play the new ones. The most recent one that I would probably put in now is maybe 2K11, and that's a pretty sad indictment, because whereas Madden plateaued probably around 2007, 2008, but it's picked it up a few years, and I would say right now that Madden is a more enjoyable game than what NBA 2K is. So for everyone longing for, not ESPN, but the 2K series to pick up the NFL license, I'm not sure if that'd be a good thing either. Regardless, I think the direction of video games, sports video games, is not a positive one. And the fact that I'm playing these old games in 2018 is a pretty damning indictment of how crap they've become. But anyway, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, whether this was the first step in the wrong direction for EA and NBA Live, or if there was another game. Of course, there were other missteps from EA along the way that really sealed their fate, whether it was the Andrew Bynum situation where he was standing reminiscent of Jesus Christ at center court, which causes them to cancel the entire game. What was that? Was that NBA Elite, I think it was called? When they moved away from NBA Live and they turned it into NBA Elite, or the countless times that they've cancelled the game, usually only 1 or 2 months out, and then the next time it came around, we didn't see that big of an improvement. I personally think that maybe, I know that there's some name value with NBA Live, especially from a nostalgic standpoint, but I think the name has become too toxic. And I think they need to really think about, if they're going to rebuild the game from the ground up, they may need to rebrand it. And I also think they should really look long and hard into not going down the semi-realistic, semi-arcade style of NBA Live that we saw in the early 2000s. And go one way or the other. Either make it a hardcore sim, which you probably won't be able to do because NBA 2K has that audience. But why not go down the arcade route as they did with NBA Street, which was a wildly successful and popular franchise? Why not bring that back? Those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Leave a comment. Thank you so much, guys, and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to. I'm not going to beg you for it, but I wouldn't mind it if I got some more subscribers on here. But thanks so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
To Hamilton with a quick release and scores.
Hamilton for 2, the assist to Chauncey Billups.
Ginobili fires, and Manu Ginobili unable to hit. And he's fouled from behind by Hamilton.
Well, now he's got to go to the foul line to earn the 2 points, Marv. So I think that was a good foul.
Number 1.
And Tim Duncan to the line. He's 67% at the line. Tim has had his problems at the line, Steve.
He has, but Marv, this is why the Spurs are so tough to beat in the fourth quarter. They can go down to Duncan on the block and get to the foul line, which really allows them to control tempo in the fourth quarter.
Wallace is on it. Bowen giving no room. And fires one up. And Rasheed Wallace with the driving hook. That's a 10-2 run for the Pistons.
Marv, they've got to get a timeout. They are totally out of rhythm offensively.
Parker firing. The Spurs control. Duncan getting inside. And Tim Duncan thought he was fouled, was looking for a call. Hamilton on the hop. Yes.
Rasheed Wallace.
That was a three-point attempt. A minute and a half remaining in the quarter. Pistons up by 8 and is fouled by Muhammad.
The Spurs committed a pretty good foul there, Marv. They fouled a very poor free throw shooter. The last thing you want to do is give him an easy 2.
And Ben Wallace at the line. He is not a guy who likes to go up to that foul line.
Marv, every team needs a guy like Ben Wallace to do the dirty work. He's going to rebound, he's going to defend, and although he's not a good foul shooter, he's still going to get to the line, which is key for a team setting up their defense at the other end.
Nice move by Parker, and Tony Parker was looking for a foul call.
Great penetration. He just blew by the defense and got all the way to the rim.
Parker defending on Hamilton, and Rip Hamilton set it up for Rasheed Wallace.
Very difficult attempt there, Marv, but he gets the ball to go in.
1 minute remaining in the second quarter.
That's a forced shot, a three-pointer from Manu Ginobili.
For three, the assist to Tim Duncan.
Wallace fires. Oh, what a shot by Wallace.
Wallace has been phenomenal in this quarter, Marv. Marv, with solid clock management, this club can take advantage of a 2-for-1 opportunity here, and it's so important to enter the halftime on a high note.
Down to a half-minute remaining in the half. Pistons up by 4. 6-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Shot clock is down to 7.
Rasheed Wallace for 2, the assist to Chauncey Billups.
Muhammad with the shot, and rebounded by Wallace. 3 seconds remaining in the half. Open shot. Steve, they got to check out the videotape. They say, yes, it is good. And on that note, the second quarter is finished. The Pistons lead by 8. All right, here we go. They'll put it in play. Here's Wallace. Rasheed Wallace able to stuff.
Very poor defense there, Marv. If they're going to get back into this game, they've got to tighten things up.
Duncan with a layup opportunity. Detroit called for goaltending. Nice pass. Here's another opportunity for Detroit. What a beautiful pass.
Hamilton for 3, the assist to number 3, Ben Wallace.
Accelerates. They double up. Delivery to Ginobili. Ginobili gets inside. Manu Ginobili puts it down.
Ginobili, I think, Marv, is one of the most exciting players in the NBA. I'm not sure how he finds angles to the basket the way he does, but it's incredible the way he finds his way to the rim. Now, the beauty of this play, Marv, is you've got 2 guys who can really shoot the ball, and that makes the defense really have to react. The floor is spread. Somebody's going to end up with a wide-open look. Wow, what a shot. I don't know if it was the smartest attempt he's ever taken with his team down and under such defensive pressure, but he got it to go.
What a pass. Shot blocked.
This is why he's been on the all-defensive team for much of his career, Marv. So dominant defensively down on the block.
The assist to Ben Wallace.
For three, and Bruce Bowen from way downtown.
For three. The assist to Tony Parker.
Bad pass. Here come the Spurs. Oh, what a pass. Yes. 2 minutes gone by in the quarter.
Tony Parker. 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
That's a forced shot, and Chauncey Billups once again hits the three.
What a great shot, Marv. Defensively, that's all you can do. Contest the shot and hope for the best.
Bowen fires it, and Bruce Bowen misfires. Tim Duncan. Nice ball movement, and a beautiful setup by Wallace.
Chauncey Billups for three. The assist to Ben Wallace.
Parker running the club. That was a three-point attempt, and Bruce Bowen off the mark. And Nazir Muhammad at the line, first time tonight.
Shooting two, Nazir Muhammad.
Wallace ends up with it.
1 minute to go.
Here come the Pistons. Wallace was wide open, and the ball back to the Spurs.
Out of bounds, San Antonio ball.
Ginobili being guarded. Accelerates, and Manu Ginobili thought he was fouled, was looking for a call.
So critical to continue to attack the rim when you're losing, Marv. You can't settle for jump shots.
Billups with a nice pass, and Rasheed Wallace was looking for a foul call.
The assist to Chauncey Billups.
.30 seconds left of the quarter. Pistons up by 11. 6-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. And Tony Parker with 15 points. Down to 20 seconds remaining in the quarter. Pistons up by 9. Billups setting things up. Rasheed Wallace.
Rasheed Wallace.
Finds the open man and fires one up. Wallace able to hustle it down. 3/4 of this one have been played. The Pistons lead by 11. All right, here we go. They're setting things up. San Antonio gets it across. The ball will go back to the Pistons.
Detroit ball.
To Billups. To Wallace. Here's Billups. That's his first miss of the night. Here's Bowen. Bruce Bowen. To Wallace. The Spurs will get it back.
Out of bounds. San Antonio ball.
To Duncan. Gets him to commit. Off the mark. Here come the Pistons. Spinning his way. Delivery to Wallace. To Hamilton. Hamilton firing. Oh, what a shot by Hamilton.
Beautiful offensive execution there, Mark. I like the way this team continues to attack.
San Antonio able to handle it. Here's Duncan. Yes, and the foul.
Beautiful move there, Mark. He's able to complete the play even while he's fouled.
Team foul number 1. The basket is good.
And Tim Duncan back at the line looking to complete a three-point play.
Tim Duncan.
Muhammad is right there. Blows the layup. 2-on-1.
Mark, where's the defense? You've got to slide your feet, get in front of people defensively.
Assist to number 22, Tayshaun Prince.
Two and a half minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Pistons up by 11. Not able to hit. And Tim Duncan to the line.
To the line, shooting 2, Tim Duncan.
And Tim Duncan with 14 points. Here's Hamilton. That's his first miss of the night. Here come the Spurs. Ginobili to the rim. Here come the Pistons. Nice play. Delivery to Wallace. Gives it back. Here's Prince. Comes up short. And timeout called by Greg Popovich.
Mark, you've got to get a quick score here and then either steal the inbounds pass or try to foul their worst free throw shooter.
San Antonio now has 2 timeouts left. Here's the shot, and Tim Duncan set it up to Manu Ginobili. Here's Wallace. San Antonio takes another timeout.
Greg Popovich is going to draw up a quick hitting play here, Mark. Either a 3 or something going to the basket, and at that point, you've either got to foul or try to make a quick steal.
San Antonio now has 1 timeout left. And fires one up. And Tony Parker feeling it.
Well, that's what you want to do late, Marv, when you're behind. Get something going into the paint. Try to get an easy one.
Wallace drawing the double. For 3. Shot clock down to 7. And a timeout is called.
The Spurs need a quick score here, Marvin. At that point, you've either got to force a turnover or make a quick foul, preferably on the team's worst free throw shooter.
Here's Bowen. 1 minute to go. And Bruce Bowen showing the outside touch. Ben Wallace puts it down.
Ben Wallace.
Bowen fires off the mark. Wallace able to reach for it. And Nazir Muhammad called for the intentional foul.
Marv, I don't mind this foul at all. His team is not in the penalty. They're down. They're trying to be aggressive and play the passing lanes. So why not risk a few fouls? Maybe you force a steal.
So that puts San Antonio over the limit.
That's great execution, Marv. You always want to get the ball into the hands of your best foul shooters.
And Rip Hamilton at the line for the first time.
To the line, shooting two. Rip Hamilton.
And Rip Hamilton with 15 points. Delivery to Ginobili. Ginobili with the rainbow. And Manu Ginobili will shoot two. That's the first on Prince. And Manu Ginobili at the line. First time tonight.
Shooting two for San Antonio. Manu Ginobili.
And he makes them both. The Spurs are over the foul.
What an advantage it is to have good foul shooters in the game late when you're trying to hold a team off. Now he's going to go to the line. He's got a chance to build this lead and really put this thing away.
And misses both shots. That was a three-point attempt. Yes, from downtown. The Spurs are over the foul.
Nice play there, Marv. Getting the ball into the hands of the guy you want at the foul line with the pressure on.
And Chauncey Billups at the line. Chauncey Billups with 14 points. Parker, nice move. Shot was deflected. The Spurs are over the foul.
Defensive foul to number 9, Tony Parker.
And Chauncey Billups to the line.
To the line for two, Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups with 15 points. Muhammad with the shot, and Nazir Muhammad able to hit. Down to 3. Prince feeling it, and they'll go to the review. They'll check out the videotape. This one is over. The Pistons have won it. The final score is 74-68. Rasheed Wallace is the high man with 25 points. So that will wrap it. This is Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr from the SBC Center.